Hello and welcome to week 3 of June 2023 Coffee and Card with Linda Ellis from lindaspapercraft.co.uk, and I'm a Stampin' Up demonstrator, and this month we are still using the Circle Sayings, our new huge punch, which is 2 3/8 inches in diameter, 2 3/8 inches in diameter. It's 6 centimeters. So it's massive, it's great, and it coordinates with everything on here. And this week, through this set of Coffee and Card, I have used some embossing folders, which I'm using loads at the moment, and they're actually an online exclusive, so they're not in the catalogue, okay? So it's got this sort of lined pattern, sort of crosshatch, I think we'd call that. And then a flower, and then a polka dot. But they're the 3D embossing folders, so they really do give lots and lots of texture to your card. And as I say, they're online. You buy them as a set of 3, and they're called the basic embossing folders. And then I have on here, so that I know, to be fair, what sandwich I need. So I know on this one, I use a big shot in my classes, so we need the blue plate, and then just the small platform, and that will emboss beautifully. So those 3, well worth the purchase, and this is the one we're going to use today. So because I've actually stuck the designer series paper onto the card and then embossed it, you are going to have to find one of your own embossing folders to do it. Any, I would say neutral, is that the word? So any sort of, repetitive design, background type embossing folder would work well doing this. Okay, but if you've got these, any of these will work well. I have to say that was my favourite. The crosshatch one is my favourite. Right, anyway, we shall get on. So, okay, I do classes actually in Sale in South Manchester, and I've just have this just on the side of me here, and you can see the cross hatching on that, and how gorgeous is that? So that was a card we made last Friday at the technical class that I do. But it's just a super background that really adds a lot of interest to your card. You're not going to get that on a shop bought card. Right. Okay, so we are using one of our returning colours, which is Pretty Peacock. Here, and the background, that's soft sea foam. Any neutral will do as well. Probably one of the cooler neutrals, like a basic grey, or let me see, probably one of the greys, a smoky slate. Do you know, even Misty Moonlight or Night of Navy would go with this, because they are, particularly Night of Navy, because it's a similar depth of colour, and because you've got the variegated here, Misty Moonlight would work as well. So, there's lots of options if you don't have your Pretty Peacock yet. But it's well worth investing in. It's a beautiful colour. Just double check. Yeah, it is Pretty Peacock. That would be silly, wouldn't it? Right, let's undo our pack. So week 3, so it's a 5-week month this month, so we have an extra video, a bonus card for week 5, so to keep it in monthly order. Right, so you've got a piece of basic white to do your stamping, couple of pieces of designer series paper in the Pretty Peacock, and that's another online exclusive, which is called Hello Irresistible designer series paper. So that's cute as well. I think I used it on my Stamp Around UK card. The video is also on here if you want to watch that. And I've actually die cut this from an old die cutting set called Layering Circles, which is just retired. And then 2 pieces of the soft sea foam, one for the front and one for the inside, and then an envelope and your card base. So all I did on the inside, so we'll do that first, is I just popped a piece of designer series paper on as a strip. Now, as you can see, I've actually left it longer than it needs to be, so you can stick it on and then trim it. because I hate it when it's not quite long enough, or if it's just too long, it's really hard to trim off. So just going to do that, and I'm going to, because I've gone right to the edge here, I am going to stick that onto the edge at the top. So, and you want to be sort of 1 centimetre, half a centimetre in, mainly to leave people room to write. Okay, so just stick that down, flip it over, wipe off any glue that you've left on, and then just trim it with your scissors to the correct length. I like to do it this side, then I can rest, she says, my scissors on the edge of the card, and that just trims flush. See, I've still ended up with a little wincy bit left. There we go. So, and then I'm going to stick that inside the card, just here. There we go. If you do want any more details about my in-person classes, then just click on my website below, and if you click on the icon on the picture of an in-person class, and it will send you to the right place with a list. And they're up now till, I think I've put up till August on, although I've just booked my September dates. September to Christmas, goodness me. So they'll be with me shortly as well. I'll pop those up soon. Right, so now we're going to repeat that using this, and again, as you can see, I've left it a little bit too long so that you can cut it to size. Oh, it is always a quandary with these papers. I am going to use this side this time, because I do really like this side, but let's just ring the changes a little bit. So, there we go. And again, I'm going to line that up at the top. And again, about 1 centimetre. Just going to, you can always sort of do it down to your paper so you've got it, your surface rather, so you've got it. How beautiful is that? To be fair, you don't have to emboss it, but I do like it. So I'm just going to grab my big scissors on this one, and again I'm just cutting in line, treating myself to some new ones. They're super sharp. Okay, and then we're going to pop this through our die cutting machine. So let's just pop this all to one side and I'll get it out. Oh. Right. So the Stampin' Up embossing plate is actually grey, not blue. So I'm just moving my brew so I don't knock it over. And then, so the embossing tips are, so I usually put my card in the folder like this, and I've just lined it up with the line at the bottom. The pattern doesn't go all the way to the fold, so just make sure you're down a bit, and always, 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 always hinge first. So just putting that down on the platform. And there we go. And yeah, I've got the wrong platform. Just bear with me a sec. See, I make these mistakes so you don't have to. So if it's struggling to go through, do check, because it probably is something you've done wrong. Right, there we go. Okay, so we're now going through properly. Okay, and there we go. How beautiful is that texture? It's just amazing. Right, and you could do it either way. You could do it golf ball styly or polka dot styly. Right, put those away. Okay, Right, and let's do our stamping now. So I'm going to get my circle. And again, we're going to use a curved stamp, and it's going to follow the shape of the punch, so you want to make sure it's right. So as we did last week, we're just going to drop it. And then pop it on my stamp pad. Now, I am going to move that, because if I rock that and have any ink on my stamp pad, it's going to make a mess on my stamping. So there we go. Dropped it again, I'm putting it in the middle. There you go. And I'm just going to stamp that first near the top and then punch it out and then do the rest of my stamping. Sorry, I have a really itchy nose. It's supposed to be a warning sign of something, isn't it? Right, okay. So, and as you can see, I have caught, because I've got quite a large stamp block, I have caught it on the ink pad, so I'm just going to wipe that off. Okay. And then I'm going to stamp that near the top like that. Okay. And then I'm going to just punch that out. I don't like open ink pads. It's an absolute guaranteed way to get ink on your project, is to have an open ink pad nearby. Right, so I'm just lining that up like I've shown you before. Line it up. When you're happy with it, punch. That gives a nice outline round that sending you a. And I'm going to do again with a smile. Except I'm going to move my coffee first. It is coffee and card after all. Right, so let's do our rest of our stamping. So now you can position your sending you a smile so it's in the middle at the top. It doesn't matter before you've punched it, or it doesn't matter until you stamp smile, and then it really does need to be in line. Okay, so we're just going to stamp smile, sort of in the middle, sort of straight. There we go. And then I'm going to do the little decoration underneath. Just at the bottom there, in the middle as well. There we go. Sending you a smile. This sort of thing, is that going to fit in there? Oh, it is. Yeah, but am I going to like it? No, I'm going to leave it. Only because the spacing would be different. So if what you could do is do this and then an opposite one above it first, leaving room for the smile, and then putting a smile halfway between, or putting your smile slightly lower, or have a play. Use a different sentiment. Sending you warm thoughts, is it? A warm hello. Sending you a warm hello. Sending you a thank you. Sending you a smile today. So, you know, play with these sentiments. There's lots of nice combinations. Okay, and that's all my stamping for this one done, so let's pop that away. Make sure you've clicked it shut. Let's get our glue out. So I've glued it flat to the circle, and then I've used dimensionals to lift it before I've put it on the card. Okay, so I'll pop that there. Just stick that on. So I do think if you want to outline this punch, you will need to use a die. I've never seen a punch any bigger than that. I could be wrong. There might be one somewhere, but I certainly don't have one bigger than that. And then putting our top layer on, or front layer onto the card. Just gluing around the outside. And because it's been embossed, it means the whole of the card, there's bits of the card that aren't touching. the back, so I do put more glue on to make sure it stays. I'm just going to position that where I want it and then press it down. And this embossing pattern is so well embossed, you really would have to push it down to actually distort it at all. It is just absolutely fabulous. Right. And then let's pop some dimensionals on. One in the middle there. And there we go. So a nice quick and simple card. You could send it to any gender. And it's nice and pretty. So there we go. I'll just put that there. So there we go. That's card number 3. And I shall see you all next week with card number 4. Take care. Bye.